DocMas residents, and welcome to the Dr. DC podcast. My name is producer Richard, and across from me is the doctor himself.
Hello, ho ho.
No,
That's
so mid.
Oh no, no cap.
Ice in my veins.
My body just rejected all that youth.
Yeah, I mean that's true. Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah,
Your Honor.
Yeah, yeah. At least my body's not wanting all that youth.
I mean, we've talked about that. If I could, you know what? I'm just gonna say, if I could search by age on Pornhub,
oh God,
I bet I could
for the
be like 40 plus.
Yeah.
You must be able to do that. How have I not tried that?
No, you can't. Trust me.
Really? Can you not?
No, I mean there is
like by porn star, you can't search like by age.
No.
Really?
Yeah. The only age allowed is not the one you want to look for.
Well, no, I don't want to. But
yeah.
I mean, that's not a filter. I can't say like 40 plus.
No.
Porn star.
No, it's unfortunate. Yeah.
God, that feels like.
I know. You would think that by now you'd be able to. It
feels like the obvious search tool.
40 plus was a mom, like looks at me with disdain.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm describing too accurate a search engine. But yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you give us your list of names?
No.
I tried, Stump. Sorry.
Yeah. You listen. If I make it to the end of this, I might reveal one.
Oh yeah. I am feeling it.
Yeah. This is episode 4.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're a third of the way. No, wait, hold on.
Yes, this is a third.
Yeah. Dope.
Good Lord. Oh my God.
Let's see where I'm at. Yeah, shaky, but not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, you can't see it at home, but he's also uncovered the power of levitation.
Yeah, I'm gonna break space and time by the end of this.
Yeah.
I remember that Futurama episode where he drinks like 100 coffees or something
like
that?
Yeah.
I feel like that's what's going to be. I'm going to be able to like go faster than the speed of light and sound.
You're going to have the everything everywhere all at once thing. Except instead of a bagel, it'll just be like a cup of coffee.
Hell yeah. So this year, like each year prior, we record an episode. We record 12 episodes over the course of one day and release them the 12 days leading up to Christmas.
That's right.
I got it.
I appreciate that you did that without looking at the thing.
Yeah, baby.
That was good.
I did. I just looked at it so fast.
I mean, you might have. Yeah.
We've got another coffee for you, one that I spilt all over my office. I think it's right here.
Oh, yeah. Here. Sorry.
This one is from Indonesia.
Yes, it is.
Indonesia.
Cool.
Yeah.
Indonesia.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's this cool guy across from me.
Yeah, that's my cool new song I wrote.
I was listening to the Armchair Expert podcast.
Yeah.
And one of the things that they were talking about doing is they have like a Thanksgiving tradition, which is secret turkey.
What does that mean?
Like Secret Santa.
But what does that mean?
But so
secret turkey?
So you get given a person like that's going to be at the Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
And you have to instead of giving them a gift, you have to make something for them.
Oh, I see. Sorry. The game is just called Secret Turkey. I thought it had to do with something about preparing the turkey. And I was like, no. I don't know. Secret Turkey feels like a gamble I wouldn't want.
Like how I said it's like Secret Santa.
Anywho.
But they have a thing where it's like you get given a person and then you have to decide if you're going to write them a poem, a song, a dance.
Something to express
art.
Your thanks kind of thing. Yeah.
And I thought that was very cute.
That is actually kind of a cute idea. I sort of like that.
I also just like it because it's like, who's your turkey? That's very funny.
What? Oh, yeah.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, I'm the problem. Been holding down the fort all by myself.
Stop shaking your coffee cup.
Just spilling it everywhere. Gesticulating wildly.
Yeah. All right.
Better than testiculating wildly.
I was waiting for I was thinking it and then I didn't say it. So this is Indonesian coffee. Let's see what the book says about it.
It's beside you on the floor.
Nice.
Cool.
All right. So the Indonesia. The Indonesian coffee is, again, another pretty dark coffee. This is probably the darkest we've had so far.
Yeah, it told me to kill myself.
Wow, dark.
It's a pretty dark coffee.
That's an edgy coffee.
I wouldn't talk to him unless you really have to.
Did you listen to the Power Hour?
Yeah.
When he talks about how black his poop is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to
So
repeat
insane.
it. Yeah. All right. So this is an Indonesian coffee. The region is the Kayumas. The co-op or farm is Koperasi, Surya, Abada, Kayumas.
God, I think I just felt a portal open. What eldritch horror did you just release?
Apparently the tasting notes are complete bullshit, but we'll see. Is apple, brown sugar, chocolate, and lime?
Cool. I mean, 3 of those things, well, no, 2 of those things really go together.
Yes. Chocolate and lime are weird together, and apple and lime are fine together, and brown sugar and chocolate work together.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's taste it before I put something nasty in there.
Do you know what? Interestingly, there is I wouldn't say that I taste lime, because that I don't. But there is there's a bright quality.
Yeah, there can be there's a sourness.
Yes, some sort of, I wouldn't even say citrus, but yes, some kind of sour.
I can get some of the apple in there. I can actually.
Okay, here's the thing I've never understood about sommeliers and all sorts of stuff is there's obviously a component of the people who are good at it must have a slight biological advantage.
Yeah.
But also, it is a thing you can at least train yourself to discern things. And then the people that have the biological advantage are even better at that or whatever. But the thing I've never been able to wrap my head around is how do you teach someone to describe a sense when you don't know what their sensation is? Sense is 100% subjective.
Yeah.
For example, we don't even know that when we both look at the color of the wall, we would call it green. We'd both call it the same color.
But are we seeing the
but
same?
I don't know that you're seeing what I'm seeing. We've just both been taught that whatever our brain interprets that wavelength is green. You know what I mean? You could see something different, but just have been taught that that's green. So
I mean, that's like
to train someone to like experience something personally, and everyone has a slightly different way of perceiving taste, and then to train them to pick those things out. That's crazy to me. I mean, it's cool that it happens. I'm not denying that it does happen, but I just don't understand.
I think
it's beyond my comprehension.
I think taste is a little bit different than color, because color, you could be like, it's like these 2 colors together. But if those 2 colors look different to you and me, that's okay, because it still ends up with the same result.
Yeah,
the problem, the thing with taste is it's like you can describe as the taste of an apple as sour. And like, so.
But also, how do you train someone to, like, even just simpler than that? How do you train, like, when I just drink it, I go like, I taste coffee.
Yeah.
And then they go like, no, like, stop. Like, do you taste this? But like, without leading them, you want them to develop a thing where they can pick it out on their own, not just repeat what you say. How do you train someone to pay more attention to, like, to take in more sensory information than they're already taking in?
So the ways that you do that are you juxtapose it to other things,
right?
And there's also ways to. So when I did my coffee training down in Vancouver, one of the things that we did was called cupping, which is basically you take a bunch of different types of coffee from like light to dark,
right?
And then you essentially try to then line them up based on like how they go from light, from sour to sweet, or from bitter to like sour or whatever, right?
Right.
And so, and you basically try to like highlight a specific taste within that. So you can, as you're going through, you're going between these 2 coffees, which one is more sour to you?
Right.
Right. And so
kind of like the eye doctor thing. It's like, is it 1 or 2, 1 or 2,
exactly.
2 or 3, 2 or
and so
3. Yeah.
It's like you can take 4 different dark roasts and be like, oh, they're all bitter. It's like, but which one's more bitter? And it's like, which one's got more of this flavor, right?
Sure.
So I think
I'm just always impressed by that. I think it's crazy.
Yeah.
Or like when chefs like take a bite of something and then they list like 9 ingredients. And
it's a thing that you can do, but you have to like hyper focus. It's like when you hear like when you're trying to like listen to the sound of a bird in like a busy area, right? Like you can do that and hear it better when you focus on it. I mean, your brain can allow that to happen. But it's a thing that I like had to. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. I think I'm constantly doing, which is like pulling out the right flavors. But if you're not doing comparison, it makes it really challenging.
Sure,
right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like the best you can do, and I think like the best coffee people, what they can do is just basically like it's all based on their own palates, right?
Right.
So which is why like when you are choosing like where your favorite place to go to coffee was, and a question that I asked the teachers in the school that I went to, I was like, where do you go for coffee? And they're like, it's not that simple. And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, it's who am I going to coffee for? So it's like I go to this place if this person is working. I like
right.
Or
the preparation is
a huge
such
part
a huge
of it.
part of it, yeah.
Or the reality was, and I made fun of this guy all day for this teacher because he was like, I'll go behind and make it myself. And I was like, that's some fucking me shit.
That is very usual. Except you would start to do that. Like, I'll make my own drink, and then you'd be like, there's a line here. Everyone go home. I've got this. You would just...
Not only do I have to make mine better, but I have to do the job better.
Yeah. And when I'm done here, I'm going to change the logo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I could do that too. Yeah. And market. This is my place now. Is that just like, it's just great.
It's like squatters' rights, but with businesses.
This is just Britain for a time, which is just like, hey, I like this thing.
Yeah.
It's mine now.
It's mine
and this
now.
place is mine. We're going to call it something that represents me now.
That Eddie Izzard bit about like they did it with flags.
Yeah.
It's like, do you have a flag? Nope. Well,
you do now.
That's very funny.
Yeah, I very much like that. That's the one of my favorite bits is the what's his name from the British comedian.
James Acaster?
Yeah. About the
British
museum.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you like it, you can come right over here and see it.
Yeah, you could come to my house and read a plaque about how important this was to your culture.
So fun. Yeah. Love that. All right.
I just read a thing that apparently there's advanced talks to return the Elgin marbles to Greece.
Really?
Which would be interesting.
I mean, that's... How long have they had that? Like,
I mean, quite
centuries. Like,
well, maybe not quite that long, but a long time.
Wow. Yeah. So this year, like every year, I
just realized that was such like a measured, interesting conversation about like real things. This is like the least chaotic DocMas we've ever had. We're not like vomiting. We're not like, oh, the spice. We're not like, oh god, the nuggets. We're just like, so how do you learn how to do coffee? Well, by comparison. There's a lot of schools of thought about coffee. Actually, we're just having such like a NPR kind of Christmas.
The cum will come.
Ooh.
I already did what we do, and we're talking about the coffee, and we talked about the coffee, and now we can start the episode, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Thanks for joining us, and today we're going to be talking about Superman.
Superman. April 1938.
Let's see what Cum Man has to say about this.
I'm gonna come.
I love that part. That's the best.
Yeah.
First questions come from Facebook.
Going to the face in the book. Going to the Facebook.
Another question from Mr. Ryan Putney.
Oh, put. I was going to just do it. It feels weird when we record these all in one day. It's like I already did that joke.
Yeah. It's not funny anymore.
No, I'm out.
We don't repeat jokes on this podcast.
Ever.
Never. Who asks, in a world where you could have...
In a world
where you can have a DC character be your friend / significant other.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice.
Who would you be nervous to introduce to your parents?
Oh, interesting.
Which character would you think would get along great with your parents?
That's an interesting question because it also kind of begs the question of like, is your metric for embarrassment different for friends versus significant others?
Yes.
I mean, is it? I think the things that embarrass me would embarrass me in a friend or a significant other. You know what I mean? Like the what we do privately isn't, because theoretically your relationship should generally be friendly. What we do privately shouldn't be the thing I'm embarrassed about. So really it's just personality. So should the same things embarrass me about friends? And
let me give you a situation.
I would love that.
Okay. Introducing me to your parents if you were dating me or if I was your friend.
I again though, I don't know.
Really?
That it's different. The things that would embarrass me in both ways. I mean, they don't know how close we really are.
But because I think that it changes the stakes of that relationship.
I suppose maybe the stakes change, but maybe not the metric.
Because if you're showing somebody that you're dating, you're being like, hey, this is a test to see if like this person can fit in our family.
I guess, but I also I'm also slightly weird in that like I don't need their approval.
Well, yeah, that's true.
That would not affect for me how the relationship.
I mean, the reality
goes.
is neither would I,
but fair point. God, who would I be embarrassed by?
Like Harley Quinn.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in a way, Harley, but I think I'd be more embarrassed by someone like she's crazy or whatever and says things off the cuff, but like she's being very true to herself. I think I'd be more embarrassed by someone like overtly false.
Sure, but you also have to consider.
I mean, in a way, Batman.
Sure.
Like a person who's clearly very insecure and has like puts up so many barriers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In a way, that.
Because you also have to think about your parents also, which is a component.
Well, that's also totally like what. Yeah.
What would bother your parents?
Yeah, and I think it would be that, and then also just like I think it would be weird to bring like.
Because your parents are so like logical and science based. If you introduce,
I mean, my dad is. My mom's not like
a little bit. I mean, I had the conversation with them about horoscopes and like.
Well, yeah, but I mean, anything patently ridiculous, then yeah, of course.
Let's not even go down this road.
It's patently ridiculous.
But like, I feel like in this current like world, if you brought in like Zatanna, like.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, be like magic. I think you mean science we don't understand yet.
I mean, that is your dad. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's true. I am somehow less.
Yeah, you are the tempered one.
I'm more open-minded about that stuff. I do not believe in God.
Yeah.
I do believe. We talked about this on Ghostbusters.
Energy.
I don't believe in the intelligence.
Yes.
Of the unknown, like that. It's like God is like I made all this.
Yes.
Like I don't believe in that shit, but I do believe that there must be some sort of connective tissue, even if ultimately we just learned that's what dark matter is. This thing that we've never been able to like scientifically pin down intuition, but that's just in the same way we've never been able to scientifically explain dark matter yet.
Yeah.
That is kind of where my head's at with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But my dad would just be like, no.
Yes.
Yeah. Zatanna. Yeah, that's interesting. But as a personality, probably not. But as like, that would be a rough dinner because it'd be like, so what do you do? They'd be like, we respect you as a performer, but you like do quote actual magic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They'd be like, why'd you bring this fucking hippie home?
Because look at the fucking fishnets and the goddamn.
Yeah. It'd be like, ask me again.
Yeah.
And then ask yourself if you want the answer. That's very funny. No, but my folks are pretty chill, actually. I think the things personality-wise that I would be embarrassed by would be like someone like trying too hard, being like overtly kind of fake or whatever, or someone who is like ultimately I just don't share views with. But again, that would be one of those things where it's like if that came out, I'd be like that would have to come out at that dinner or whatever, because otherwise I wouldn't have brought them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like someone like Hawkman, who's got like a very conservative. I mean, that's not even fully true. That was kind of one era of Hawkman, but yeah, I don't. It's a tough question.
What about somebody that,
or it's just someone that doesn't like conversation, someone like too quiet or timid.
Yeah.
So some versions of like Ice.
Sure.
She's very sweet. She's very nice. She'd be easy to get along with, but like, if you're not going to be like, not going to make jokes or be conversant or stuff like that. Like that's how my family is too. So someone would just go like, yep, yep.
Oh,
like that wouldn't. It's not that they wouldn't like her, but like that it wouldn't play great. You know.
Yes.
I think that. What about for you?
Who wouldn't get along? I mean, my parents are like almost like the opposite of yours. My parents are very like spiritual and like not like in a God way, but like very much in the sort of like energy of the world kind of way. And my mother's extremely like,
I spin a crystal every morning.
Yes. Yeah. That's much more of my mother especially. And so I think that somebody who's a lot more sort of like black and white about things, but also very like North American corporate culture, that kind of thing. Like if I brought Lex Luthor,
like a big fucking square.
Yeah. Like Lex Luthor wouldn't do well with my family.
Sure. Yeah.
So Maxwell Lord, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
Somebody like that. Yeah.
Interesting.
What about somebody you think would get along well with your parents? Is there a sumo like person?
That's very funny. I was gonna say actually something, like Oliver Queen.
Sure.
Very personable, very jovial, kind, progressive, can like make small talk.
Yeah.
Doesn't have the Bruce Wayne kind of affectation or anything. Relatively genuine. I think someone like Oliver Queen would play well as both a significant other and friend.
Yeah. Whatever you're lucky enough to have.
I would. Yeah. I mean, God.
For me,
that goatee.
You can goatee down
straight to hell.
Oh yeah. I would say for me, like Ivy would do well.
Oh sure, right. Yeah.
With my family.
Yeah.
Especially with their history of drug use.
Oof. Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're all an equal amount of fun here.
Yeah. My brother's listening to this. You get it.
That's really funny. Yeah. There you go.
Okay. Next question. We're leaving Facebook and heading on over to Twitter.
That's Twitter.
One question from Twitter comes from the Senator.
James Paulson.
The one and only.
It's been a while.
I know. It's been a while
since I gone and fucked things up just like I always do. Nice.
Hell yeah.
In a world.
What would be the response by the various billionaires in DC to how Twitter meltdown happened? How the Twitter meltdown happened?
Oh, I see. Yeah. I mean, basically every billionaire, real and fictional, other than Elon Musk, would have done a better job. But if we're just talking about the response to it, like they're watching it implode.
It's just like all the ones that are existing in this don't really give a shit.
Yeah. Just largely being like, look at him lose all that money. It's kind of fun to laugh at, I guess.
It's weird because like you keep wanting like a bigger plan to show up because it feels like too dumb to exist.
I think it's to this point, the ultimate culmination of that thing you discover when you're an adult, which is, oh, no one knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that's not true. There are people that are skilled and stuff like that. But what I mean is when you're younger, you imagine that at a certain point, it's like, oh, competence, knowledge. You like that these are like abstract things that become concrete when you're an adult. And that imposter syndrome thing comes from like, but how am I doing this job? And then you realize, you backtrack and you go, they were thinking that too. And that goes all the way back through history. And some people are good at specific things because they studied them or they know them. But like in a broad sense, none of us know what we're doing, and we're all making it up. And we all make a mistake somewhere along the line and pass the buck to someone else. And it's this like big game of hot potato through society. And I think there's no better distillation of that. I mean, A, than CEOs, but B, than Musk, a person who is just like a bad guy who has wealth and keeps failing his way upwards. And it's interesting to see both just like obviously he's just hateful and he just wants that, but also to just see like it's such like a cartoonish ego. Be like, well, I'll just come in, I'll say 5 things, and I'll just. It's like literally what Trump would do, right? Trump would go on Twitter and be like, we're doing this. And then a bunch of people would be like, fuck, how do we make that an executive order?
Yeah.
And they'd have to figure it out. You remember when he was like tweeting like law, like whatever. Musk is doing that too. He just tweets like, we're getting rid of verified badges. And then they go like, oh shit, what do we do? And then he goes like, fine, we'll bring them back. They go like, fuck.
I think the thing that
it's just the same level of stupidity. It's kind of interesting to watch it just happen again.
The weird thing and the weird like we're in a simulation type thing that I can't get past, which is like up until this point, as much of a fucking idiot as he is, like he didn't start Tesla. He didn't start like SpaceX. Like he just took people who have good ideas and made money off of them and took over their companies.
He's a real Edison of himself.
But he took things that were like progressive ideas that he was like, oh, this is going to be the future. I'm going to do this. The thing that I can't get past in this situation is like, let's take a platform that is like on like that is not what it was years ago, right? Like Twitter is not the future. Twitter's a thing that like legacy like internet users are using, and like some youth are, but for the largely, it's not the platform it used to be. And another thing
I mean, the fact that Twitter became like people's like news aggregator and stuff like that shows that it's like 30 and 40-year-olds using
it. Right? And so for me, the thing that I can't understand is like from like the intelligent business mind that he at least had shown up to this point in some, whether he's evil or an idiot,
quote unquote.
Like he's made intelligent enough decisions that have made him more money.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. He's been savvy.
Yes, I don't understand the like thought, and this is the thing where I'm just like, I needed like an interview with him or something explaining why, because I just don't get it.
I mean, I would be curious to know, in a way, if there was this. Obviously, because we're all connected, it's different now. It's much more public now. But I'd be interested from like a economic point of view, like a historical point of view, if like in the 20s and 30s, in the rise of fascism, if you saw similar like weird moves with like Volkswagen just all of a sudden like didn't put four wheels on the car. It's like, is there some sort of like deterioration of like decision function that happens? Like that's a correlation to the rise of fascism. It would be hard to figure out what that thing is. It's so obvious in such a transparent, connected world. Like, but I'd be curious if there's like, you know, like all these things that you just see like you couldn't possibly be this dumb, and then they are. Trump is, he is, but Ye Trump is,
always
all
seemed
of that.
like he always was, but had.
But even Trump, even if you knew the real him, which was also true of Musk, Trump had cultivated a bit of an image, and it was only I shouldn't say it was only, but the facade cracked as he ran in politics and became president and enacted policies and stuff like that.
Became more of a public figure the more people realize how dumb he was.
But before then, there was always this, you know, you knew he was a piece of shit. You knew the stuff about him tearing down housing projects and like shit. Like you knew that stuff, but there was a slight distance to it, you know what I mean? And same thing with Musk, right? But it's just like, is the like attraction of power at a certain point, you just go like, fuck it, and the mask drops. You know, famously, Hitler, bad decision maker. You know, I don't just mean in the obvious sense, but I mean like tactically poor. You know, like a lot of like historical, you know, you look at the decisions made in World War II, like why didn't they wipe out the forces at Dunkirk and stuff like that, and like part of it's ego and part of it's that. I'd be curious in a sort of psychological evaluation of fascism, decision making, ego, the intersection of all of those things, because it does seem like impossibly dumb. Like,
that's the thing. I'm just
if
trying
you
to
wrote it, you'd be like, no, this wouldn't happen.
Why would you buy a thing that is not doing well and like?
Why would you for $44 billion lose your own money?
But I'm just like because I usually default to I'm too dumb and I just don't get it. And because I think that's also sometimes a great mentality to be like, hey, I'm not smart enough to get this. Someone explain it to me. Nothing wrong with that. And I think that it's a good way to go through the world instead of just assuming you know everything. I think it's nice to just like be like, someone explain this to me, whether you have an intelligence enough to grasp it.
To bring this back to the question. It does make me think a little bit about the relationship between Lex Luthor and Henry Bendix. That was happening in Superman, Son of Kal-El. Henry Bendix as the despot leader of this nation, Gamora, and Lex had been kind of like supporting him behind the scenes, giving him money and resources. And as soon as the facade drops with Bendix, and he's like, "We'll blow up the island" or whatever the thing is, Lex is like, "Distance, buh." And I think to bring it back to the question, that's the reaction you'd get from most of the billionaires in.
It's like I never knew him. I never really liked him.
They'd be like, okay, off the deep end, never knew him, wasn't involved.
Yeah,
who knows what's happening? You know what I mean? Like they all just kind of quietly distance.
It's the Epstein reaction.
They absolutely would have been on board, but they'd be like, he's let the facade drop too much.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. It's like, like why did, I never was on Lex's plane. I don't know.
Yeah. I never. Yeah. I never went to Maxwell Lord's Island.
All right, let's leave Twitter and head on over to Instagram.
Now we're going to Instagram. Take some questions and answer them.
The only question from Instagram.
All right.
Cursed Blob, who asks, which is the most underrated friendship in DC? This one, baby.
Yeah, me and you.
The two friends.
Yep. Yeah. Fuck you, Griffin and David.
Underrated, because we know a lot of like very famous ones.
We know the big kind of buddies,
Yes.
Fire and Ice, Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, Batman, Superman,
Green
Arrow,
Green
Lantern. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, an underrated friendship.
Superman and Dick Grayson.
I think that's a good one.
Yeah.
It also still might be a stretch to say underrated, but I specifically think Clark and Dick have an interesting friendship. I think that's a really good one. Yeah. There's a really good in the Rebirth, at the start of the Rebirth era, when they were kind of like the New 52 Superman had died, and then the Superman that was there was actually the pre-Flashpoint Superman, and it's before all of the things got sort of like in a retcon got smushed into one thing. He was like known to be a different Superman. They were like, "You're not our Superman," and he had to earn the trust of people back.
Yes,
but there's a really good bit, and it's either in the Nightwing. I think it's in the Nightwing book in the Rebirth era, where that Clark from pre-Flashpoint connects with the current continuity Dick, and their friendship kicks off again. And I really like it, and that idea that that Dick would have taken inspiration from Kryptonian stories to call himself Nightwing, and stuff like that. That's a good friendship. That's a good pick.
Anybody else coming to mind?
I kind of liked the Sinestro Black Adam friendship. That was sort of like a New 52 kind of invention. It sort of starts in Forever Evil when they work together as part of the Injustice League to beat the crime syndicate. But then it carries over into Sinestro's book. Black Adam goes to space, helps him fight the Pale Bishop and stuff like that. I kind of like their friendship, that they're these two people that are like, people think we're villains. We're just trying to do right by our, what I mean?
I like that.
There's something I kind of dig about them. Also, just the idea that as we get more nuanced takes, villains can have friends.
Yeah.
To an extent. Obviously, they're ultimately very selfish. They'll cut those relationships short or whatever. But certainly the style of villain of a Sinestro or a Black Adam that isn't you know what I mean? They theoretically should be able to have friendships. The Joker can't have friendships.
Sure.
But they could. The Penguin, that's why I like the Penguin Riddler thing on Gotham, even though Gotham's kind of a shit show.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that about it, that it's like a villain friendship. I'm sort of into that.
Yeah. Like Barry Allen and Hal Jordan, maybe.
I mean, that's a very classic one. Yeah, totally. I dig that one.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that spring to mind. Hawkman and the Atom. I think that's a good friendship. Maybe underrated just in that they're not the most popular characters currently, but they have a long comic history.
Yeah, we talked a lot about that.
Team ups and being friends and stuff like that, and there's some great stories that highlight that friendship and stuff like that. I think they're a good one too. Yeah.
Totally. Or did you say the Atom and Black Adam?
No, it's Sinestro and Black Adam.
Oh yeah.
Atom Smasher and Black Adam.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah. There's some good options there.
Totally.
All right, let's leave Twitter and head on. We're leaving Instagram and heading on over to the Doc Squad.
Doc Squad.
God, you're choosing all the slowest ones.
Doc Dark squad.
Uh-huh.
Dark squad.
Okay, what else do you got?
Ducks beyond score.
Whoa.
Ducks. Fuck.
Score.
Fuck.
Oh, fuck. Christmas. All right, last question. Comes from Alexander the Alex, who asks, we haven't had a New God series in so long.
Yeah.
Who's your ideal creative team for a New God series?
Oh, boy. I think you got to get Dan Mora on art.
Yeah.
I think it needs
Sure.
that energy and that color. Yeah, I think there's a slight. I mean, it'd be interesting the opposite way too. But you know, the New Gods are very like heady concepts. You need someone who can like crystallize things in a very clear, accessible art.
Mm-hmm.
And Dan Mora's art is just so crisp. I love the look.
Within
of
the
it.
chaos of New Gods and like
Yeah.
Genesis, I think like you need something that's really like
It's
crisp.
interesting to see the opposite. You know, to see like how psychedelic could it be. But I think there's a place for that.
Yeah. Who would be the writer?
Oh boy, the writer.
Do we want to see the seven corners of the
No,
New Genesis?
The 7 districts of Supertown. Yeah, whatever. I mean, Josh and I talked about this on that episode, which
I didn't listen.
I know, that's why I'm recapping. So fucking listen.
Yeah, I've been waiting. So
I have no idea how this mix-up happened. That I'm not that interested in seeing like more Johnsian take on those kind of things.
Yeah,
you know, he touched on New Gods in Darkside War and stuff like that, but I'm not overly interested in that. Maybe, do you know what? I talked about her a bit in recent episodes, but Mariko Tamaki, I loved that Detective Comics.
Tomato and tobacco. How does that go together?
Wacky Tamaki.
Yeah. Please, I hope someone calls her that.
That's, oh boy. I liked the Tower arc. That was set, about the new Arkham Tower.
Yeah.
And we were balancing all different members of the Bat family. Like, it was kind of an ensemble book and stuff like that, but very character driven. Might be neat to have that kind of energy in a New Gods book.
Yeah.
I'd be kind of interested in that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about you?
Artist is hard, I think. I don't think you're wrong.
You could go like really out there, like Riley Rossmo, or like someone with a very particular style, or
like I think
something.
that Lemire would be interesting.
Totally.
Maybe for a writer, someone like Ed Brubaker, maybe.
Interesting. Huh.
I think that like his approach I think would work really well.
Yeah, I don't especially if you, is it too much to make it like Gotham Central?
Right? Like
where like you kind of get the New Gods, but you're maybe more focused on the bugs.
Well, and I think that's,
like that kind of
thing that I think that,
or the lowlies, and that.
And that's the thing that you and I talk about all the time with New Gods is like I want to know more about the sort of underbelly of this.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And Brubaker's so good at like the
not to just directly lift his prior concept.
Sure. But I mean that's also a lot of his work, to be honest. Like,
that's interesting. I'm kind of into that. Yeah. I think also Mark Waid would be like, I'd be super interested in I mean, just to take Mark Waid, Dan Mora off World's Finest, just put New Gods. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was the last question. If you want to have more chats about who your favorite artist and writer combo will be on New Gods, you can reach out to us through our various social media platforms that has Dr. DC just sort of attached to it.
Dr. DC or Dr. DC Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Hive, Reddit. etc.
Yeah. The truth is out there.
Yeah. 4chan.
8chan.
Yeah.
Also,
the dark web.
Yeah.
Yeah. Find us on the dark web.
Yeah.
We're selling kryptonite.
Also, give us a 5-star review and we'll read it on a future episode. You can subscribe to our Patreon, get access to extra content every single week, videos and audios and chats on
keep
our
going.
Discord.
Yeah,
and,
baby.
Maybe some photos if you're lucky.
Ooh.
Also, we've got another podcast, Ghostfacers, a Supernatural rewatch, where we go through every single episodes of the CW's Supernatural.
That's right.
That's it for this week.
Adios.
Ciao, ciao.
Oh, I thought you were burping.
Heroes, they always fight for what is right. Live with danger and adventure, they are men of might.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.